Good morning. My name is Vanessa Simmons, and this is Normalized Breastfeeding Live. Thanks for tuning in with us today. We're here to speak with Afrykayn Moon about her documentary that is Breastfeeding a Nation, The History of My Chocolate Milk. And so I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer for you guys so that you guys can have a chance to take a look and see what this is all about, and then we'll get this podcast started. I think we have one more. I think there's one other video. Give me 1 second, guys.
The history of my chocolate milk. People of color were the first to walk the earth. We reigned as queens and kings on earth. Traditionally, our women breastfed our children and our nation. The enslavement of people of color did more than just enslave our physical bodies. It began the destruction of our natural ways of nurturing and feeding our children. Forced women of color to feed the children of the very people who harmed them. Forced women to watch as their children died from the lack of nutrition and violence. Emmett Till, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice. Infant formula is our savior. Make formula seem so superior to the life you have to offer and watch everyone run towards it. Then ask yourself, why don't Black women breastfeed? It's time to tell the history of my chocolate milk. Join forces with us to get our story told and change our fate and the fate of our children.
All right. Excuse me, guys. I'm getting over a little cold. It's been lasting for a long, long time. So we're going to go ahead and, sorry, I accidentally clicked that. So we're going to go ahead and go to our special guest of the morning. Let me stop presenting here. Miss Afrykayn Moon, thanks for joining us this morning. Let me go ahead and unmute your sound. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I really appreciate you coming on with us so early in the morning.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
Definitely. So tell me a little bit about how this whole idea got started. What was your plan? What was your idea, and what kind of was your inspiration?
Well, my inspiration was simple. I have been harassed for breastfeeding myself. And instead of me getting a lot of people saying, oh, that's terrible, I hate that happened to you, I kept getting this confused, Black women breastfeed? Like, that was the question I kept getting. Like, I didn't know Black women breastfeed. Like, I thought we were more progressive than that. It's like, more progressive than what? Like, if I'm not breastfeeding the child that I'm giving birth to, then what do you think I should be doing? Because if we want to be honest with each other, formula is dangerous. So because we're Black, that means that our children are not worth breast milk. You know, I just kept asking, like, I'm so confused at why everyone does not understand why Black women, we do actually breastfeed. You know, we may be, there's a lot of closeted breastfeeders, but we still do breastfeed, you know. And when I started doing more research into it, I found out that I was wrong. Like, there are a lot of us who don't actually breastfeed. And I mean, I know I hadn't seen it when I was growing up, but I just thought, okay, well, this is just my family that's not doing it. But no, like, people really weren't breastfeeding and they didn't talk about it. They
Right.
didn't talk about it. And those who, again, those who did breastfeed, they did so at home, and it was never discussed beyond their own doors. And so I started a talk show, a blog talk show online, and I started asking people questions about Black women breastfeeding and why did they think this, just all of a sudden we just stopped. Like, where did this come from? And I knew about wet nursing and what happened during slavery days, but when I really dug deep into what exactly happened, I was surprised. I was so surprised that I said, our community needs to know about what happened, why we got here, why are we even asking, do Black women breastfeed? Why is this? We were the original breastfeeders. How did we get to this point? And that's why I decided, it's time for us to share our story. And I think once more people realize how we got to the point where Black women think, some Black women think that breastfeeding is something of the past, that they'll, once they understand that, they'll get back to doing just that, is taking care of the children that we gave birth to.
I agree completely. That is very profound, and it's good to see that you had an opportunity to speak with other people and get their insight, and you can kind of see where other people are coming from in regards to it. I actually grew up thinking as well, Black women do breastfeed. My mother's actually she's from Ghana. So is my dad. And I mean, in their culture, it's completely and utterly normal. It's not even something to be discussed. A woman has a baby, she breastfeeds her baby. It's that simple. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I mean, she would tell me stories of nursing us and us biting her, and her pediatrician telling her, you need to go back and breastfeed that baby. And I kind of felt like maybe what I need to be thinking when I get pregnant is, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through that too. And so I kind of got to the place where I felt like I wasn't scared, but I felt like more empowered because my mom was able to tell me these stories and help me to feel like even if something goes wrong, I can still pursue it, and I can still actually be successful in breastfeeding my children. So I can definitely I can relate to you when I found out that Black women really don't breastfeed according to the statistics. What does that look like, and how does that make one feel if you have never been surrounded by women who breastfeed? Or I mean, like, even me, I never actually saw other Black women breastfeed, but I just assumed that they did. The first person that I was in touch with that breastfed was a close friend of mine, and I actually witnessed her breastfeed. But hearing stories from my mom, it still gave me that extra push. So finding out that the statistics show that we really don't, it's kind of like a shocking, type of thing. You're
It
like,
is. It
whoa,
takes your
wait.
breath away.
It really
Absolutely.
does. It really does, especially when you look at the statistics. I mean, saying that, I guess it's, what is it, 59% of Black women are likely to breastfeed for like 6 months.
It's not
And
even that
like,
high. It's like 3 months.
oh my goodness. And see, that it was mind blowing when I first really looked into it. And then I started seeing, with the whole push for Black Breastfeeding Week last year, it was something that I was so passionate about, because once I found out those statistics, I was like, yeah, we need a Black Breastfeeding Week. I mean, why wouldn't we? We've got the lowest rates in the country. Why wouldn't we be pushing for this? And it's funny, promoting it through this campaign, Normalize Breastfeeding, I lost followers. I lost followers because I stuck to my guns. I was like, no, 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 no. I don't care what you people think. This is something that needs to happen. And I had some people coming on kind of getting, taking it offensively or defensively and saying, well, when's White Proud Week? And I'm like, it's not that we're trying to make it a white and black thing. We're saying, here's the facts. Now let's support moms that don't have support so that they can be successful in breastfeeding as well.
And you know what? And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because that's another thing that I've been getting is like, well, why are you doing the history of my chocolate milk? Why are you focused on black women? And for one, because I am a black woman, okay? And for two, is we have to be honest, okay? Every day is white women's breastfeeding day. Every time they show their numbers and how well they're doing with breastfeeding, that's giving honor to what they're doing. Every time we get slammed for not breastfeeding, every time there's an article that states that the black women do not breastfeed, that's us getting knocked back a step. So if we want to be honest, every day is White Women Breastfeeding Day. So let's put it in the forefront. Let's talk about what the issues are. Let's stop being so sensitive. Let's stop thinking that me taking pride in myself is me condemning you. This is me saying that I am proud to be a black woman, and I want to help other black women who have not seen breastfeeding, because sometimes it's hard. And you need to have those stories from your mother and from your grandmother to lean on. You need to have the support of your community saying, hey, you can do this, so you can get past those hard moments. But when you're in an area where nobody's breastfed before and they see that your child is nursing every 5 to 10 minutes and they're like, oh, that baby's not getting enough milk because it shouldn't be eating that often. If people breastfed, we all know, because we breastfed, just because they're on your breast every 5 minutes don't mean they're actually nursing. We know these things nursing now, but they're not hungry, right? They're not hungry. Children are brilliant. Children are brilliant. I know my son, every time I just look like I was sad, he's like, oh, come on over here and nurse me and I'll make you feel better. Like that's just how they work. That's how children do. So just because they're on your breast does not mean that they're hungry. And if we had that background and had that support, we would know this without feeling like, oh man, I must be messing up, because my child is always hungry. They're always waking up. They're always at my breast. I'm doing something wrong. But this is what happened when we don't have that history. Right. We don't have our history.
Right.
And it's not just with breastfeeding. Our history is not here. When you're talking about American black women, we don't have a history, and we have to start talking about it. And other races have to stop being so sensitive to think that just because I'm taking pride in myself and I want to talk about what it is that's going on in my community in order for me to empower us, that's not me saying that I dislike you or I'm downing you in any way. That's just saying that I see where the issue is in my neighborhood and I want to fix it.
Exactly. I'm going to try and pull up something really quickly on Instagram. It's a lovely page called Breastfeeding Art. And honestly, over, I want to say, a period of like 3 months or something, they've gotten like tons of followers. Let me try and pull it up. Let me see how quickly my computer wants to respond. This is actually something I didn't plan ahead of time to pull up, but I want to try and show it really quickly. The images, because the funny thing is when I went onto the site, I was like, wow, these are amazing artistic historical images. And then now when you're talking about it, I remembered not seeing any images of our people.
Absolutely.
And it's not, like I said, I don't want to make this a white and black thing. I think that what's really important is that people see that it's not just that we're saying it's always White Women's Breastfeeding Day. What we're saying is that when you look at literature, when you look at photographs, when you look at anything that's regarding breastfeeding, typically it's a white woman breastfeeding. It's not that we're saying that, oh, we're not proud of her. Yeah, great for her and her family and her culture and her heritage, but what about mine?
Right.
You know, where is mine? Like where do I have something to lean on and stand on and feel like I see my ancestors did this and now I can do it. You know, because
Absolutely.
breastfeeding is such a difficult task. And this is my first time breastfeeding to term. I mean, I'm full term breastfeeding at this point. My baby's 6 months, 16 months old. My
Yay.
first two I breastfed. Thank you. My first two I breastfed my son. My first son, Zion, I breastfed him until he was 6 months. And then I breastfed my daughter, Rosario, until she was 11 months. And she weaned on her own, but I really think that she had a nursing strike, and I didn't know anything about nursing strikes. And so because of that, you know, I kind of felt like maybe, you know, she's just weaning. And so I just kind of let her wean. I didn't try again. I just kind of was like, okay, we need to put her on formula, get some milk, or I think she was almost a year, so we just put her on cow's milk. Um, but you know, seeing these images, it's really about relation. And
Absolutely.
how do you relate to the images you're seeing? Do you think it's
Absolutely.
beautiful? Yes. Do you think that it's honorable? Yes. Do you feel like they're a successful mother trying to nurse their child? Yes. The difference is, can I see something that looks like me so that I can feel that way, so that I can
Right.
feel honored, so that I can feel like I can accomplish this task, you know? Like this woman right here. This is my midwife. My midwife was pregnant with these twins when I was pregnant with my son, and even after her babies were born, 3 months later, she still attended my birth. She had both of her babies there, and I had my son in the water, and I breastfed also. And so, I mean, it's like seeing that it
That gives you a
encourages
push.
you. It
Absolutely.
gives you that push, you know.
Exactly.
And she also was at the birth of my daughter. You know, like just having that someone to relate to. I can look at her and say, and I can feel that same thing that I'm sure plenty of white women feel when they see white women breastfeeding. And like I said, it's not about white or black. It's just about relation. It's about feeling that
It's about seeing yourself.
in yourself in those images. That's exactly what it's
Absolutely.
about. Thank you for clarifying
Absolutely.
that.
Yes. No,
Yes.
I know because I feel the same way. I've actually had people say to me, like, all of the pictures that you post are always of African women breastfeeding. Where are the other pictures? Well, those are the ones that I find. You know,
Right.
if you're breastfeeding, take a picture and I'll gladly share it. But again, we're a lot of us are closeted breastfeeders, so we do it. We don't take pictures of it. We don't talk about it. So nobody's ever able to pull from that strength of you saying, yes, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm proud of. And there are a lot of reasons why, which is why why I'm doing the documentary, so I can put those reasons in the forefront, and maybe by talking about what those reasons are, it will take away some of the excuses so we can actually start getting back to breastfeeding our children, and then know that it's okay to say that, wow, I'm having problems. I need to ask someone for help. You know,
Exactly.
when my daughter, when I had my first child, I went 3 weeks, and everybody, my family, her doctors, everybody was like, she is not nursing well, she's not gaining weight well. I actually had one lady said that if I didn't put my baby on formula ASAP, that they were going to take my child away from me for
Wow.
failure to thrive. And I'm like, no, I can do this. I know I can do this. I need somebody to actually help. Stop threatening me. Stop telling
Right.
me what I'm doing wrong. Help me, you know.
Right.
And I mean, I begged. I called every breastfeeding 800 number I could find. Like, what is going on? Why won't this child eat? Like, what's going on? And I
Mhm.
finally lucked up and found a woman when my baby was 3 weeks old, and she came to my house. And she looked at me. She says, oh, first off, she has too many clothes on. She started snatching my baby's clothes off. She took her socks off. And I tell you, it was crazy. She woke up and just started screaming and latched right on right then. I said, wait a minute. So
Right.
you've been telling me that I've been putting too many clothes on her, which is why she's not nursing? Like, oh my God. It was something that simple. Like, and
Exactly.
seriously, she from that point on, my baby, she nursed until she was 3. She breastfed
Wow.
until she was 3 years old. But had I caved in, or had I not found that woman, I would have given up. I would have
Right.
given up on breastfeeding 7 years ago, because nobody wants to be threatened about having their child taken away from them. But I kept saying, I'm like, I gave birth to this child. I should be able to breastfeed her. Stop threatening me. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Like,
Right.
why won't she stay awake? What's going on? And it was
Yeah.
really just something that simple that
Right.
I found someone who understood breastfeeding and could give me guidance. And
Right.
that's just not found in our community. And we have to do something about that, because we cannot keep condemning mothers who are trying, because it's hard enough. It really is. It's really hard being a mother, especially a first-time mom, and then you haven't said, well, you know what, I'm just going to take your child away from you. Like, what the hell? Anybody else would have run to formula. But I'm stubborn. I'm like, no, there's like this could happen. Like, I know this could work. Like, we have to figure it out. And I'm so blessed that I was able to find her. She's actually one of my really good friends now, because she changed my path for me. But I needed some help, because I had never seen it, and no one around me had. So what was going on?
No worries, no worries. Don't worry about it. This is a very relaxed podcast for the most part. It's 5:30 in the morning over here. Oh, it's almost 6 o'clock. It's too early to be worried about anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys this page that I found on Instagram, called Breastfeeding Art. They do have other pages, or sorry, other pictures of breastfeeding women of color. I did look now, and I didn't remember seeing any when I first looked at the page. I primarily remembered seeing images like this, which is obviously, of baby Jesus nursing. When you see like images that you just don't relate to, I mean, it's still beautiful. It's amazing to look at these images and say, wow, like, look at how they've captured breastfeeding in history, in art and in art form. And, to see images like this, it's just absolutely amazing, just beautiful. And so I did actually, oops, sorry guys, I don't know what I did there. So I did actually go down, and I see the image that's actually portrayed in your, for your documentary. I also see some more women of color. This is from Jade Beal. Let's see what else we've got. But I do really have to kind of scroll through and look. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we've got one of Janae here. Janaea. It's also from Jade Beal. And breastfeeding in the military. Pretty awesome. I love this. Look at this. This is just beautiful. And see, the thing is, it's not any more beautiful than any other, but I can see myself in this
Absolutely.
image. I can see myself. I can feel my history in this image, And so when I look at, and I think as a photographer, I actually kind of skipped through my whole introduction of what I do with normalized breastfeeding. But, I'm a photographer. I'm a mother of 3. I actually, I started this campaign because I wanted to share breastfeeding photography, and show how natural and beautiful and normal it can be. And it's funny, people started unfollowing my photography page. Like, I lost like 100 followers because of this project. And so I thought, oh, I don't want to ruin my, like, what I've built up over the last 4 years. Why don't I just create a new page? And so I was like, well, I'm just trying to normalize this breastfeeding thing. That's what I'll call it. And it just took off from there, And so what I basically did was I got to the place where I felt like, I just really needed to start sharing my photography and sharing other moms' photos, like even their just everyday life photos. If you're on our following our Facebook page, you'll see that we're just sharing, everyday photos from moms that are following. And I think that it's really important to be able to you know, highlight some of the sorry, I'm trying to stop my screen share here. Highlight some of the women who are willing to be photographed. I think that I've had the hardest time trying to photograph women of color for birth and breastfeeding. And I know that we have issues with our body image because of the media and how we're portrayed in the media. And I think that breastfeeding photography, I think birth photography for Black women is incredibly important for our future. It's
Absolutely.
incredibly important for our daughters to see these images, to to relate to these images, to see themselves. It's incredibly important. And I take a lot of time. I actually do a lot of work, footwork, trying to reach out in the Black community to try and get images of Black women because it's really scarce. I mean, if you look through, like I said, like that particular page, or if you look through other pages that are specific to breastfeeding, if you look at breastfeeding literature, you know, whether it's in WIC, whether it's in any type of resource guide or whatever, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see a Black mother breastfeeding. I've noticed in recent months they're using a lot more images of African American women breastfeeding, which I think is awesome. But they're primarily like stock images. They're not really like in real life type of images, and that's like the type of photography I try to focus on. Because I feel like it helps to tell a story. You know, it helps to show like the real situation, you know. And so with your documentary also, I think that it's awesome that you're including, you know, new moms and their babies in the documentary, because it's allowing people to see that, okay, this woman's breastfeeding, and not just breastfeeding. She's not in the closet. She's talking about it. She's out with it. She's
Absolutely.
letting you know how her experiences have gone. She's letting you know how it's made her feel and how empowered she has become. So I think that that's all very, very important.
And you
Um,
know, I think actually a little bit more than a self-image problem. It really is about the way we see birth. You know, carrying a child, giving birth to a child, and nursing a child. These are things that have been shown to make women weak, and we don't want to be displayed as weak people. And I think when you stop to, I actually had a couple people tell me when they were pregnant, like, oh, I feel like I had a parasite, like eating all of the food in my body and eating the nutrition out of my body. And it's like, wow, you know. And when I am pregnant, I'm pregnant with my third child now. I feel so empowered, like I'm freaking superwoman right now. Like I have a little penis growing inside of me, and I'm keeping him healthy. You know, like this is absolutely amazing for me. And for anyone to think anything different just shows that we have a lot of work to do.
yeah,
Because this is not the moment when you're weak. You're formulating life. Like this person is growing because of you.
right,
Because of you. And once we need to get that back in our community. This is not what makes you weak. Those images does not make you weak. It shows how powerful you are as a woman. And we're really confused by that, and we really need to fix that and get that education back out there, because this is what we were made for.
right. And birth is definitely the foundation of our breastfeeding issues. You know, if we can get it back to where birth is completely normal and natural birth is completely normal and not seeking out medication is completely normal,
Right.
then breastfeeding will follow. And I mean, I've birthed all three of my children naturally, no medication, by the grace of God. I honestly cannot. Oh, Dominique's with us. I honestly cannot. I cannot take all the credit for myself, because I said many a prayer when I was laboring with my kids. But I can say that, you know, all three births, were beautiful. They were wonderful, and I had wonderful experiences. And now, gratefully, my mother also pursued natural birth as well, so that was something that I was adamant about from day one. I remember my obstetrician telling me, "Oh, well, 90% of our patients, they get an epidural." And I said, "Okay, well, I still want to do a natural birth." And then they just repeated the phrase, 90% of our patients. And I just said, I don't think this is where I want to be.
Right.
And luckily, I was savvy enough. I was able to call up my insurance, change my group just in time to be able to qualify for a local birth center. And we gave birth naturally to my first son. And then we had a home birth with my second. And we had a water birth in the birth center with my third. So, and I know what you mean about feeling like Superwoman when you're carrying your third baby. I don't know what it is about the third baby, but girl, you can do everything. Like it just overtakes you. You're like, oh yeah, I got this. It's no big deal. And the funny thing about it is, even when the baby's with the breastfeeding, because you've now gone through two other kids, you've carried a kid while also caring for two other kids.
Right.
Do it. There's nothing that can make you feel like you can't. But it takes getting to that point of your third baby, which some women, they say, well, I only want one or I only want two. It takes that progression of having more children to feel empowered, to feel excited, to feel like, yes, I can do this and this is beautiful and I'm given life. And, like it not everybody grasps that with their first baby. So I do think that's very is very important. Tell me, let's talk about your GoFundMe really quick, and then we'll talk with the other ladies about their podcast that they're doing to support African American and Black breastfeeding as well. Tell me about your GoFundMe. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen while you talk, okay?
Yeah, my GoFundMe page is simply because once I started this project, I had no idea how much money it would actually cost to get a documentary together. It's like, I'll go and hire someone to do the videography for me, and I'll hire a video editor, and I can do the research myself, and I can find the mothers to speak with myself, and it'll be no problem. But what was happening is I'm going broke trying to get this documentary completed because there's so much out there that needs to be shared. There's so much out there that needs to be talked about that I can't do it by myself. So I put the GoFundMe together because there's a lot to be told there, and I know the community wants to know this, and I'm just waiting for the community to say, we understand what you're trying to do. We would like to help you. Here's $20, like $20. If you can afford it, it goes a long way with this documentary. That way, I can hire a videographer. I can hire an editor. I can actually get to the mothers who need to talk about their breastfeeding experience. I can get to the experts in this field, so we can have this discussion about breastfeeding, and it's really doing well as far as the support. Like, people are listening to the documentary or the clip from the documentary and saying, "Wow, I didn't know, and I apologize for not knowing, and I want to help." So I'm really pleased with the way the support has been so far.
Awesome. So everyone, you can go over to her GoFundMe. It's gofundme.com /chocolate milk. Really easy to remember. Look her up, Afrykayn Moon. She's gonna really break ground with this documentary, and we want to support her in any way that we can. I'll definitely be sending over a donation for sure. Wow, it's really picking up speed. And I saw too on your YouTube channel, this trailer has been seen like 7,000 times. That is amazing.
It's funny because I put that picture out there with the Black Woman Speaks poem, and someone else picked it up and shared it on her page, and just from her page alone, that picture and the poem has been shared more than 75,000 times. So people
Wow.
are really taking interest. So I know the desire is there to want to know more, and hopefully we can get this done before the baby comes. Otherwise, I'll just strap them to my back and we get to going, go pushing forward that way. But
Right.
people are ready. People are ready to hear it, so we can make changes.
Awesome, awesome. Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on with us. I'm gonna switch it over right now to the Mocha Milkies Cafe and talk a little bit with them about what they've been doing to support Black breastfeeding as well. Hold on one second. I got a message and I just want to make sure we're good. Let's see what happened. Okay, okay, okay. We lost Dominique, but I'm gonna get her back on. Oh, oh yeah, no worries. I'm gonna tell Dominic to come back on. Yeah, what happens is after a certain number of people, I have it set up so that I can't. Oh, she said she can't hear us. She might need an earbud. Let me tell her really quick. Yeah, I think she's gonna try again to get back on. See, the thing is, when we're already talking, it has us so when they come on, it automatically mutes people off. So, like I don't because I don't want them to interrupt, like and come on and be like, "Hi," and we're in the middle of talking. So, hopefully, she'll be able to get back on. She doesn't need to download anything though. She's saying that she needed to kick. I think she got kicked out because I accidentally hit the airplane mode on my laptop. I think it was my fault. Hold on. Just tell her to use the link. All right, so we'll get started with you, and we'll just have you kind of tell us a little bit about Mocha Milky's Cafe, and I'm gonna bring it up on the screen while you're talking as well. Okay. Awesome, awesome. Sorry about that. I had a problem trying to find your link for some reason. It wasn't coming up. I have Mocha Milky's Cafe.wordpress.com. I don't know if that's the right link, but I was just trying to take them over to the website. Is that the right link? I was trying to get there. I know I've been there before, so I was just mochamilkiescafe.wordpress.com.
Yeah.
And it's MIL. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Okay, there we go. It's because I don't have my glasses on. I'm trying to avoid that reflection, and because of it, I can't see my screen. Okay, cool. Let me share the screen again. It's coming up right now. All right, and I don't see Dominique on yet, so hopefully she gets on with us. All right, share. There we go. All right. So yeah, so I mean, this is really awesome. You know, being on the go, it is really important to be able to um, see that there is this type of support. Right. There's this type of support that's kind of just available when they need to listen to certain things and hear about certain events or things that are going on in the community, that it's accessible. And so I definitely think that it's something that, is necessary. This is definitely something that, I feel like if we don't invest into these types of resources, then our moms are not going to get they're not going to get help. And a lot of African American black moms are working. They're working and breastfeeding, and so they're on the go. What better way? They can listen to this in their car on the way to work, on the way home, while they're on their way to the grocery store. Exactly. Right. Right. No, definitely, definitely. Oh, here's a nice picture of Dominique. And another one of you. Beautiful, beautiful. I've always loved that picture of you. So you guys can come and check out the Mocha Milky's Cafe.wordpress.com. Check out their different events that they have going on, and actually go over to the podcast so that you can download and listen to their episodes. They've got a bunch of episodes going on here. They've already featured Nicole Sanford of Black Women Do Breastfeed, me, and also I think that you guys had on Sherry Payne, right, of Uzazi Village. Is she on? Oh, here, let me go back over to the screen. Oh no. Oh, no worries, no worries. That's fine. I was trying to scroll down and I saw her name on an event, so maybe it's something that's coming up, right? Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Uh-huh. Kidada? Yeah, yeah. I think it's Kidada. Yeah, with Black Mothers Breastfeeding Association. Yeah. Right, right. No, definitely, definitely. That's really cool. And I think that it's something that, there are all of the it's funny when I started breastfeeding 7 years ago, I did not think to look up a specific to black breastfeeding organization. I just did the local breastfeeding stuff. I called the local breastfeeding hotlines. Like, I didn't think that there was all of this extra support. And I honestly didn't know that we needed all of this extra support. So the fact that it's available to us, it is, yeah, really important that we as new people starting out with our podcasts or our blogs or whatever, that we really go back to these groups and really focus on highlighting their work, because they are doing something huge. They have been doing it for years, and their help with how they are changing what Black breastfeeding looks like is something that's definitely honorable, and something that we need to definitely take the moment to really spotlight them and highlight them, so that way they can feel that appreciation for all of that hard work. They put in so many hours and so much time and so much passion, and so from my point of view as well, like I feel like anything I can do to promote, I'm all for it, and I think that it's a good opportunity to do that when we reach out to those organizations that have come before us. So yes. I'm really excited about your podcast. It was great being on with you guys too. Just a lot of fun. We were just chatting it back and forth with our kids in the background. It was a really good, relaxed, calm environment, and I really liked it. So thank you so much for having me on as well. Don't forget to check out the mochamilkiescafe.wordpress.com, you guys. And it's not only for Black women. You can still go to their website if you're not a Black woman, but it is for the support of Black women. And so I just want to thank everybody for coming on today. I don't know if Dominique is still going to be able to make it on. And if you can, that's great. I'm going to just do a little bit of shameless plugging for myself and for this. I love that term. I have to use it. But everybody, just so you know, that term came from Mocha Milky's Cafe. We did a lot of shameless plugging on that episode. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our. I'll share my screen with you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about our big event that's coming up very, very quickly. It is at the end of this month. It is called the International Day to Normalize Breastfeeding. We have secured a proclamation through the mayor of San Diego that is declaring June 27th the last Saturday of every year of, the last Saturday of June for every year. So this year it's on June 27th. Next year it will probably be a different date, but this year it's June 27th, and annually it will be the International Day to Normalize Breastfeeding. It's very, very exciting. Let me see if I can make my screen full. Oh, I don't think it'll let me. Okay. Well, anyhow, you can come over to Facebook to check it out. Just type in International Day to Normalize Breastfeeding. And once you get there, make sure to click Going right here. We have over 2,500 people participating so far. We still have 15 days to go. And what we are doing is we are collaborating with other Facebook pages. So if you have a Facebook page and you want your Facebook page to be a co-host on our event, you can go into the description of the event and click on See More. When you go down to the bottom of the description, you'll see a link that will take you to a form that says help us spread the word, become a co-host. You go to this link. It'll take you to the form. The form looks really intimidating, but it's not. All we need you to do is create a 20 to 30-second video. When you create your video, all you have to talk about is what does normalizing breastfeeding mean to you? Why is this annual celebration important, and how do you support breastfeeding families? And that could even be just nursing your own baby. You're still supporting yourself. So I can definitely say that this is a good opportunity for businesses if they want to get out there and show that they are breastfeeding friendly. Organizations, if you are a breastfeeding support organization, you definitely want to do this so that you can come out and show support for this day and this international event. We also have, all you have to do is create a video and upload it to YouTube. Once you upload it to YouTube, you have to share it in two places. One, either on your Facebook page or your blog, and then two, share that post on your local media resource. Once you've done that, you'll have everything that you need to come down and fill out this form, click send, and send it on over to us and email us your video, and we will get you connected onto the actual event as co-host. And so far, I just want to thank all of the people who are co-hosting. Outside of my own businesses, we have the Nationwide Nursing, we have Breastfeeding Mama Talk, the Badass Breastfeeder, Breastfeeding in Combat Boots, San Diego Breastfeeding Center LLC, San Diego Nursing and Public Task Force, um, the San Diego Breastfeeding Coalition, Marvelous Milky Mamas, and Sage Parenting. And we have a few more that are in the works, like the Solar Power System. I just want to give her a shout out really quickly. Gina from the Solar Power System has been making us some awesome memes that are very easy to display and very easy for people to gravitate toward. One of her memes looks like this. It's a little, sorry, I'm waiting for this to load. But it's basically like a little stick figure. So she makes these memes with stick figures to portray a certain type of message. So we have a bunch of them on the wall and on Instagram primarily. If you go over to our Instagram, it's instagram.com at normalizebfing. Normalize BFING, you will see all of the cool little stick figures that we have to represent this cause. And so definitely come and check them out and support International Day to Normalize Breastfeeding, and make sure that you join the event. Let's see if we got Dominique on or if everybody's off now. It looks like everybody's off and it's just me at this point. So I just want to say thank you again to everybody who took the time to come and be with us today. And we're going to be signing off now. So thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of your week, wonderful rest of your day. Take care.